Hi everybody, I start second lecture of the biology from my note. Today I want to continue the carbohydrate. Carbohydrate, as you know, the formula of the carbohydrate is a CN water M, and it is a relation between carbon and water, and because of this we can say it is a carbohydrate. Carbohydrate we can divide into two groups. Usually we can divide into sugars, which are in subgroups monosaccharide, then disaccharide, and for the polysaccharide, which is a polymer of the monomer. Okay, can be homogeneous from one type of monomer, for example, from glucose or from the mix of it, or other monomers also. Now I start with the monosaccharide. Monosaccharide, as I mentioned, with the formula, general formula CnH2O M, we can classify it with two types. First, in the carbon number, okay. Second, in the type of the monosaccharide, which can be aldehyde or ketone, then I can write, we can classify carbohydrate with the number of carbon. Okay, which can be 3 carbon, 4 carbon, 5 carbon, 6 carbon, and 7 carbon. Okay, is one of the important things we have to know about it. Other type of the we can classify in the type of the functional group, which aldehyde, we can say aldose, ketone, we can say ketose. Okay, it's one of the important things we have to know about it. Okay, now with the 3 carbon, which we can say 3 aldose or 3 ketose, is one of the important things we have to know about this. For example, 3 aldose, it is the glyceraldehyde. I can draw it. Glyceraldehyde. We can have a D or L. And dihydroxyacetone is a ketose. CH2OH. This compound is very important in biochemistry also, in the glycolysis. And we have a 4 carbon, which is important also. Okay, it's very important. As you see here, the number of the carbon can be 4, can be also, we can say, tetra aldose and tetra ketose, and we can have also, from here we can have a erythrose, for example, but in the biology not so important, and we have a pentoaldose, which is very important, ribose, D-ribose, and in the RNA, and we have a deoxyribose in the DNA. Okay, but for the pentoketose we don't care about it here. And most important groups is the 6 carbon. It is a hexoaldose, which can be glucose, is a D-glucose, galactose, okay, and hexoketose, which can see is the fructose. They are very important, and we can classify this functional group very easily in this system. Okay, and the disaccharide is the combination of 2 glucose dehydration with removal of the water. Okay, in this case we can say if we have a D-glucose plus D-galactose, the combination is the lactose we can find in the milk. D-glucose plus D-fructose, we can have a sucrose we can find in the table sugar, and the D-glucose plus D-glucose we can find some types of disaccharide like the maltose we can find in the VR, and all of them gives warm water in the reaction. It's very, very important. I continue with the structure. We can have, as mentioned, pentose, also hexose. Also, we can have a structure in the cyclic and the linear. Here we can see the ribose in the cyclic form, in the pentose, or deoxyribonucleic for the DNA. Ribose in RNA, deoxyribose in the DNA. And as you see here, they are the structure of the ribose, deoxyribose, and the glucose in the cyclic form. I explained in the chemistry also. And also we have a linear ribose. It is very important in the structure. And I draw here. In the start, it is a type of ribose, it is pentaldose. Ribose is like this. One, two, three, and the last one CH2OH. And as you see here, OH will be in the right side if we choose the aldose. The 3 chiral center. Alpha D glucose also we can draw in the cyclic form and in the linear form. It is acyclic, it is OH in the lower, it is aromatic carbon, OH is in the down, it is alpha. As you see, combination of the 2 monosaccharides can be disaccharide like lactose, because glucose and galactose, sucrose be glucose and fructose. Cellulose we can find in the plant, okay? Human cannot digest it, okay? And it's structural. And usually animal like a cow can digest this type of the polysaccharide. But the storage of the energy in the plant called starch. It can be 2 groups, amylose and amylopectin, which we can use it and for as the energy source because it can digest with the alpha amylase enzyme in the mouse and pancreas, and glycogen storage of energy in the animal, for example human. The place of storage can be in the liver and the muscle. We have also chemically modified carbohydrates. Sugar phosphate is very important. For example, fructose 6 biphosphate. It is one of the products inside the glycolysis, or in the carbon phosphate, sugar phosphate backbone of the RNA and DNA, and in the structure of the ribose, okay, or the oxyribose. Okay, phosphate combine the carbon 5 and the carbon 3. Okay. And also we have amino sugar. It's a very important compound we can find in the joints and the cartilage, mainly these two compounds. And usually, for example, glucosamine amine group can bind to the carbon number 2. And also we have chitin, which is very important structure of the insects, animals, insects usually. And it has N-acetylglucosamine, which is a carbon 2. It has an amide group, which is very, very important. The structure and the function of glucose, as I mentioned, it's used as the energy source in the most organism, from bacteria to human, by either aerobic respiration, anaerobic respiration, and fermentation. Now I explain this, then we can continue this part now. Okay, for example, if we use starch, okay, it digestion, usually with the help of alpha amylase, and starts with, for example, glucose. Glucose in the process of glycolysis, because I know glucose is the hexaldose, 6 carbon, okay, can produce 2 number of pyruvate. It is a 3 carbon. As you see here, in this situation, now we have a 3 carbon, and now, as I mentioned, the structure of the pyruvate. It is I can draw here. It is keto acid, alpha keto acid. Okay, the pyruvate is this. Is the pyruvic acid has with the acidic form. Now this compound, if we can go aerobic, if we have enough oxygen, and go to the TCA or Krebs cycle. Okay, we will study later production of ATP, carbon dioxide, and water. And the pyruvate in the anaerobic, okay, if the oxygen amount is low, can go to convert to the pyrolactate. And this lactate can cause muscle pain, usually in the muscle, can use in the heart muscle, or can go to the liver in the Cori cycle and convert to the glucose again. Okay? Third group, glucose, can use by the bacteria. We say fermentation and production of ethanol. It's one of the important things, so can I explain it? Now, in the human body, through aerobic respiration, break down carbohydrate to the mono and disaccharide, for example, starch, most of which is glucose, through glycolysis, and the later interaction of the citric acid, glucose is oxidized to eventually from carbon form carbon dioxide and water, and the formation of ATP. The insulin also is very important in the regulation of this mechanism because it helps for the using of the consumption of the glucose and to regulate the concentration of the glucose in the blood. Okay. The next one is the structure and the function of the ribose. Ribose is we can have a beta D ribofuranose, as I mentioned, is the aldose form. In the cyclic, we can have a furanose in the 5-member ring and the pyranose in the 6-member ring. Usually, the glucose is the pyranose, and it's beta because OH group is up. Okay, it is a beta D ribofuranose, part of the backbone of the RNA, or L and mirror images and ribosome we study in the chemistry, and we can find in the DNA deoxyribose also. But the deoxyribose is found in DNA, and the phosphorylation derivative of the ribose, such as the ATP and ADH, we will study later, play a central role in the metabolism. Cyclic AMP, cyclic GMP from ATP and the GTP. It is one of the important second messenger in the signaling, for example, G protein couple receptor and other. Now we go to the amino acid in the next lecture. I hope we can meet each other in the next lecture. Have a good time and see you.